with collections. What is a collection? Collection is a framework in Java. Specifically, it is set of interfaces and classes. And they are going to belong into the package java.util1. Most of the times we require to deal with the data in computers because all computer programs are expected to work on a data, process that particular data, and try to interpret from that particular data. Doesn't matter whether we are going to write the program to check out whether number is an even or odd, to check out what is the sum of the two numbers, or later on, if you are going to extend that particular small programs into the bigger one, just finding average of marks of all the students in the class, finding the average height of the students, and so on and so on. So we require to store multiple objects into the single unit. And of course, you might be studied as an array is one of the concepts to store the data of same type into the single unit. But apart from that, there are the other data structures like list, vector, set, etc. And these all functionalities are going to be designed by the Java and stored into the one of the package called java.utility package, or it is going to be java.utility package. And it is basically based upon generic programming. So try to understand what is that generic programming is all about. I'm just sharing the screen. I'm going to the Eclipse one. Okay. I hope that many of you are aware of how to use Eclipse one. So let us try to write one class, new class. The class is not going to be a bigger one. It is simple one. Otherwise, what I do is that I will first create one package into these collections. Collections dot we say begin. We are going to create now class. Suppose name of the class is a box. What this box class is expected to do is that it is going to hold one number. Time being, we are not going to think a little bit bigger one. As we are going to just begin with, we say that we need a box. Initially, we think about that we need a box where we can store integer numbers. Obviously, we can store strings too. You can store double values too. You can store any other object like an employee object, student object, or a shopping item into the box. Okay. So let us design a box class. This is typical declaration for box class. I hope that the Eclipse is visible on the screen. Of course.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. So this class is going to have a mechanism to create user-defined data types. Okay. So how to define a class? You already aware of that one. We have to start with the declaration class. This is followed by the name of the class, and it is going to have an access specifier. This access specifier is helping us to define the scope of one class where that class is inaccessible. You can define a class like this too. Once we define the class like this one, the scope of the class box is limited to the package collections.begin. collections.begin नाम का जो हमने पैकेज बनाया है, इस क्लास सिर्फ उसी पैकेज में एक्सेसिबल होगा, इसके बाहर एक्सेसिबल नहीं होगा. If you want to make this accessible outside the package, you have to make it as a public. And obviously, as far as the outer classes are concerned, we can use only two specifiers. access specifiers. One is the default access specifier or a public access specifier. Public access specifier is specified earlier one, and whatever the declaration available here on screen now, that is class box, is going to be a default access specifier, or you can use the public one. As I said earlier, it is going to have, okay, int atom. We say it is an atom. Box is going to contain an atom. Okay. If you want to achieve the encapsulation, okay, you must have to declare it as a private. जब भी कोई प्रॉपर्टी होती है क्लास की, और वो प्रॉपर्टी अगर हमें प्रॉपरली इनकैप्सुलेट करनी है, so that it is not going to accessible to the outside but directly, हमें उसको प्राइवेट बनाना पड़ता है. Okay, you might be studied that. Then we are going to define one constructor like this. This is going to be called as a default constructor. Okay, this is going to be called as a default constructor. Default constructor is a constructor which is not going to take any parameters. इसमें कुछ पैरामीटर नहीं होते हैं. And access specifier is exactly same as the access specifier used for a class one. क्लास का जो access specifier है उसे access specifier होता है. हमने ये default constructor लिखा है, ऐसे हम बोल सकते हैं, लेकिन ये डिफॉल्ट कंस्ट्रक्टर है या नहीं है, दैट इज अनदर क्वेश्चन. क्योंकि डिफॉल्ट कंस्ट्रक्टर तो जो कंसेप्ट है, अगर ये क्लास रहेगा मेरा, अगर मैं इसको कंपाइल करूंगा तो आफ्टर कंपाइलेशन जो भी मेरा बाइट कोड फाइल या क्लास फाइल बनेगा उसमें कंस्ट्रक्टर होगा या नहीं होगा. दैट इज फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. आंसर टू दैट क्वेश्चन इज यस, इट इज गोइंग टू हैव. देन हु इज गोइंग टू क्रिएट इट? वी आर नॉट राइटिंग इट. Then who is going to create it? The compiler is going to create it for you, and compiler is going to create the constructor for you like this, and this is going to be called as a default constructor. So compiler खुद जो constructor define करता है, अगर हम कोई constructor provide नहीं करते हैं, then compiler is going to generate its own constructor for a class. That constructor is going to be called as a default constructor. उसको हम डिफॉल्ट कंस्ट्रक्टर बोल सकते हैं. We are going to have पैरामीटर. हमें पैरामीटर चाहिए बिकॉज मैं चाहता हूं कि we need to put an atom into the box. Okay, so we are going to use atom equal to atom. But remember, whenever I am going to declare a variable, for example, here if I am going to put a int n, and if I am going to write here n equal to 34. Now this is what n, this is a member property of class n. But if I am going to declare here int n equal to 45. Now what is n here at this particular line? This n is nothing but a local variable, because we had redeclared the variable of same type. This is going to happen for atom 2. Atom के लिए भी वैसे ही हो रहा है. तो जो here, whatever the atom we are using here, it is going to be local variable. ये local variable है, लेकिन हमें करना क्या है? We want to change the property of a object. So we have to use here this. So we have to write this dot atom. Okay, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Now we had created the box class, but suppose I need to access the atom. What is the value currently in atom? अगर ये value मुझे पता करनी है, तो I required one method to get that value. Okay. Obviously, it is going to be an int. Name of the method is expected to get atom. This is called the getter method in Java programming. And what you're supposed to do is that you have to just return atom. Okay. Sometimes we require to change the value of the atom. So we require one method for that. That is public, which returns nothing, but changes the value of an atom. That is set atom. Obviously, parameter is going to be int atom. Pretty simple again. This dot atom equal to atom. Okay. Let it be only this. If anything required to add more, we can add it later on. So let us write one function which is going to be a main function, and we are not writing that into the box class. For that we are going to create one more class. This it is box client or box test. Okay, it is going to have public static void main method like this. So we are going to create box v1 is equal to new box. Obviously, it is going to give the error for new box for the reason that we are trying to create the box without specifying any parameter. And if you are going to look at the box is having constructor which expects parameter. And here we are creating a box without any parameter. So you're supposed to pass a parameter. Then that we are printing the box, we will try to put d1. Save it, run it. How to run it? You can go here. Okay, near to the navigate there is one run box client. Okay, run button is there. Otherwise you can right click here in this particular class window and say run as Java application. What you are saying? You are saying collections.begin.box @ something like this one. This is not what we want. हमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं चाहिए था. So I'm changing little bit. मैंने ये मेथड डिक्लेयर किया है. Obviously, I have taken an help of Eclipse to generate it. इस मेथड जनरेट करने के लिए मैंने Eclipse का हेल्प लिया है. But we can write our own too. You might see that there is an annotation for this method, that is an override. That means this method is not the method of box class. Obviously, we are redefining this method. So we are saying it is an overriding. Now question comes that from which class we are overriding this particular method. Okay. By default, whenever you are writing the class, and if you are not writing here, there is an always this particular statement present there. Whether you are writing this or not writing this doesn't matter. जो भी आप class लिखते हो, any class, doesn't matter whether it is a box class, whether it is student class, or whether it is any employee class. Extends keyword is always going to be there, which is extending a java.lang.object. The object नाम का class है, and it belongs to the package java.lang. And this particular toString method is from that class. Whatever output here we are seeing, it is from that particular method. Please mute your mics. Okay. If I'm asking you to ask the questions, you can unmute yourself and you can ask questions. So this method is an overridden method. This is our own definition. Earlier definition is from java.lang.object class, and this definition is giving an output like this one. We will save it. We will go to the box client. We will rerun the code. Now you can see what is an output. And now you can ask me any questions if you want to ask. कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना है? शाश्वत शुक्ला, शाश्वत
यस सर।
बेटा आपका माइक ऑन रहता है, जरा थोड़ा ध्यान
नहीं
दीजिए।
नहीं सर, हो गया कर दीजिए।
नो प्रॉब्लम, लेकिन थोड़ा डिस्टरबेंस हो जाता है ना बाकी स्टूडेंट के लिए। मुझे लगता है कि कोई बात करना चाहता है मेरे साथ।
यस सर।
ओके, कोई बात। एनी क्वेश्चंस?
स्क्रीनशॉट ले लें।
हाँ, व्हाई नॉट, श्योरली, नो प्रॉब्लम। And you are going to get the recording too at the end of the session. One, I had already started a recording. Once my session ends, you can download the recording and you can go through the recording later on.
Sir, please
Okay, sir.
scroll upward.
This is not required to write. Explicitly, it is going to present there. Implicitly, it is going to present there. Whether you write or doesn't write, doesn't matter. This one. So this is your box. This is your box client. If you want to change b1 dot set atom, you can say 45. You can again have system dot out dot println b1. You are going to get the different output. Okay. Box atom is equal to 12. Box atom is equal to 45. What here happens is that it is going to calling the method toString.
चलो हॉटस्पॉट ऑन करो जरा। कर दिया है। आया?
Aditi Thapa.
Excuse me, sir.
हाँ बोलो बेटा।
Sir, what we need to define the main class in the different file?
Not required. You have to just have the one class, another class, and you can define main method there. And you can create an object of earlier of classes you have written there. No problem at all. जैसे हम string का object बनाते हैं, तो class कहीं और ही लिखा है ना। Thread का object बनाते हैं, तो class कहीं और ही लिखा है।
Yes, sir.
कुछ नहीं है, कुछ वो just you have to write one class and write a main method there. कौन सा क्लास है उससे मैटर करता ही नहीं है। मतलब ये एम्प्लॉय क्लास है कि मैनेजर क्लास है कि बॉक्स क्लाइंट है कि ब्लॉक्स टेस्ट है, उससे कुछ मैटर नहीं करेगा। ओके, ओनली थिंग इज दैट गिव द प्रॉपर नेम टू द क्लासेस सो दैट वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट व्हाई दैट क्लास इज रिटन फॉर। हमें पता होना चाहिए कि हमने क्लास क्यों लिखा है। क्योंकि हमने ब्लॉक्स, सपोज बॉक्स क्लास का नाम क्लब बॉक्स दिया और उसमें एम्प्लॉय का डेफिनेशन दे दिया, we can't understand that what that box class is doing, whether it is representing employee or whether it is representing a box. So when you are giving the names to the classes, it has to be properly defined so that when your fellow colleagues, मतलब तुम्हारे friend जो अभी classmates है या इंडस्ट्री में जाते हो तो तुम्हारे अदर fellow programmers रहेंगे, उनको ये समझ में आना चाहिए कि उस क्लास में लिखा क्या है, क्यों क्या क्लास लिखा है। That's all. Otherwise, ऐसा कुछ there is no rules and regulation as such. Any other question?
सर ये स्ट्रिंग में क्यों कन्वर्ट किया हमने B1 ऑब्जेक्ट को?
तो उसको प्रिंट कैसे करेंगे बेटा? ये क्या कर रहे हैं हम, टू स्ट्रिंग। मैंने तुम्हें ये बोला, ये देखो ये प्रिंट हो रहा है ना, ये अपने आप कॉल हो जाता है बेटा। एवरीथिंग वॉट एवर गोइंग टू प्रिंटेड ऑन कंसोल इट इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी स्ट्रिंग। जो कंसोल पे प्रिंट होता है वो हमेशा स्ट्रिंग होता है। डजंट मैटर वो इंटीजर है या फ्लोट है, रियल है, स्ट्रिंग है, एम्प्लॉई है, बॉक्स है या स्टूडेंट है, हमेशा स्ट्रिंग ही प्रेजेंट होता है, हमेशा, ऑलवेज।
ओके सर, ओके सर।
ऑलवेज। ओके। अब फॉर एग्जांपल यहाँ जो है, मैंने टू स्ट्रिंग मेथड कॉल किया है और यहाँ मैंने कॉल नहीं किया है। कॉल नहीं किया तो भी ये टू स्ट्रिंग मेथड इम्प्लिसिटली ऑटोमेटिकली कॉल कर ही देता है आपको। दैट्स व्हाई इट इज प्रिंटिंग लाइक दिस। ये जो प्रिंट हो रहा है, दोनों दोनों जगह पे प्रिंट हो रहा है ना। क्यों प्रिंट हो रहा है देखो, it is printing for the reason that every time it is calling the same method to string। मतलब आपने कॉल किया तो भी वही मेथड कॉल हो रही है, नहीं किया तो भी वही मेथड कॉल हो रही है। Any other questions? ठीक है, क्वेश्चन नहीं है तो एक थोड़ा सा थॉट प्रोसेस के लिए मैं क्वेश्चन आपको पुटअप कर रहा हूँ। हमने इंटीजर नंबर के लिए किया था ये, ठीक है। व्हाट टू डू अबाउट लॉन्ग के लिए क्या करेंगे हम, शॉर्ट के लिए क्या करेंगे हम, देन फ्लोट के लिए क्या करेंगे हम, डबल के लिए क्या करेंगे। मतलब हमें बॉक्स चाहिए जिसमें लॉन्ग स्टोर हो, शॉर्ट स्टोर हो, फ्लोट स्टोर हो या डबल स्टोर हो। तो व्हाट वी सपोज टू डू नाउ, हमने इंटीजर का तो बना दिया ना। इसमें कुछ क्वेश्चंस है तो पूछ सकते हैं। अगर क्वेश्चन नहीं है तो मुझे ये बता दो कि अगर लॉन्ग डेटा टाइप के लिए मुझे बॉक्स बनाना है तो मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा।
सर एक और वेरिएबल लेना पड़ेगा, इंट आइटम, इंट प्राइवेट फ्लोट आइटम, एंड देन
लेकिन हाँ
क्रिएट ए कंस्ट्रक्टर।
हाँ, लेकिन हमने शुरू में ये डिस्कस किया था कि एक बॉक्स में एक आइटम स्टोर करेंगे हम। मल्टीपल आइटम स्टोर करेंगे तो रिमेंबर हम तो डिक्लेयर कर सकते हैं, यहाँ 10 वेरिएबल भी डिक्लेयर कर सकते हैं। लेकिन अगर 10 में से सिर्फ अगर एक ही हम यूज करने वाले हैं तो वाई टू डिक्लेयर 10। और ये 10 डिक्लेयर किए तो बाद में ये सेट और गेट उतने बढ़ जाएंगे, फिर मेरे कंस्ट्रक्टर का क्या जी, फिर कंस्ट्रक्टर ओवरलोड करना पड़ेगा। मतलब अननेसेसरी मेरा क्लास का कोडिंग बढ़ते जाएगा। इट इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज द कोड ऑफ माय क्लास। ऑब्वियस है ना।
यस सर, फिर हम या तो इन इंटरफेस या इनहेरिटेंस का यूज कर सकते हैं।
उससे भी सॉल्यूशन निकलेगा, क्योंकि अगर इनहेरिटेंस भी हमने किया तो वी आर इनहेरिटिंग द कोड रिटर्न इनटू द अबव क्लास इनटू द सब क्लास ना।
यस सर।
तो कोड तो आ ही जाएगा, मतलब कोड तो रीराइट करना ही पड़ेगा। ओके, बराबर है ना। तो व्हाट शुड बी सॉल्यूशन फॉर दैट। Anybody else?
No, sir.
So there is a concept of a generic one, इसलिए वो generic सा concept है। Okay, so I'm closing this. I'm going to the collection class, making new package. Okay, otherwise not required package two. We can write directly class two, but we are going to write the class now in a different way. Name I'm making again box. मैं box ही उसको बोल रहा हूँ, but as it is in the different package, it is not going to have any impact on the earlier class box. Blocks बना दिया मैंने। Look at what I'm doing. I'm copying all this stuff. Pasting it here with little bit modification. Here again I'm making T. Look at the glass. कुछ खास difference नहीं है. We added this one. We had used that here. I will explain it what it is. Okay. Either for this class or next class. हम इसको explain करता हूँ. Now, earlier box class I am closing. I am creating new client. I say it is new box client. I say it is a box client. I say new. Box. I say here new is equal to new box what it is saying. Box type is not listed. Just a minute. So you can define like this. Save all. So you're supposed to define something like this. And once you are going to define something like that, it is going to work for you. I'm going back here. Save it all. There is no error as such. Coming back. Constructor box integer is undefined. There is no constructor. Okay, so it is creating the problem. So I'm changing this little bit. Obviously, you can have like this too. Again, the question comes is that then when you are creating the box, how you are going to pass the parameter? Generic parameter हम कैसे pass करेंगे? So we are changing the constructor to the default constructor. Now you come here, you can see that there is no error as such. Now you can do v1 dot set atom. Store there anything what you want to store. Okay. And then have one run it atom 11. I am creating one more box of different data type. For example, string one Java programming. We're changing it to the B2. You don't need. Look at an output. Now we are using the same box for different data type. एक मैंने नंबर के लिए यूज किया, दूसरा मैंने स्ट्रिंग के लिए स्टोर किया. And this is called the generic programming. And this is the base of collection classes. Collection class का ये base है. Once you understood this, it will become easy for you to understand the collection classes. Any questions from your side? Student, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Of course, you require to go to the literature. That is, go to the Google, go to any books if you are having. Doesn't matter whether it is an hard copy or soft copy, and try to understand what is Java Generics. Java Generics है क्या? समझने की कोशिश करो. If questions, I'm there to help you. And once you understand this, then you are going to understand the next part, that is about how collection classes are going to work on all that stuff. Okay. Majan sir is going to continue the class. He is going to be there. He is not taken an leave. So I request you to continue the class, either this class or other class. If not any questions, अगर कुछ questions नहीं है, तो हम यहाँ रुकते हैं. What I'm going to do is that in chat, I think you are having the habit to put the attendance in a chat box. Attendance कैसा लिया जाता है? Class representative.
सर सब चैट बॉक्स में डाल देते हैं और सीआर ये कर देता है, सेंड कर देता है.
Okay, ठीक है. तो I request to put your attendance in the chat box and sincere request to the CR to compile it and give it to the Baljit ma'am. Or even okay. So we will stop here.